To the fourth lecture in the series of high frequency amplifier. We are discussing the BJT at high frequency, and today's topic is common emitter current gain when we have short circuited the output. So the topic is short circuit current gain and how the gain is related with the frequency, and that ultimately defines the gain bandwidth product. So today we are going to discuss the short circuit current gain at high frequency. I mean, using the Jay-Colletto model as we have been discussing in this particular unit, and then we will discuss about the gain bandwidth product, outcome of today's lecture, and what kind of questions that can be asked related to the current topic. Look at this diagram which we have been studying in this particular unit, and all the components that has already been explained. Now, when we talk about the gain, and especially the current gain, means I want to somehow calculate the relationship between output current and the input current. So anything which gives me IO upon IB, let me have this pointer. So anything which will give me the relationship between this IO, that is the output current, and that is the input current IB. So that IO upon IB is nothing but current gain. And since we are saying that we want to calculate the short circuit current gain, it means we want to short this output resistance. Okay. Then what are the components which are required the Miller's theorem? The feedback components. What are the feedback components? This is the RB-C, which is connecting the collector terminal to the base terminal. And similarly, there is another thing which is CC, that is the capacitance, which represents the transition capacitance. And these are the two components which requires to be separated between input and output circuit, so that we can apply our KVL or KCL analysis and calculate the current gain. So we are applying the Miller's theorem for these two feedback elements. We have already studied and we are known very well that why Miller's theorem is required. Unless and until we solve these two components and we separate these components into input and output circuit, we cannot go and analyze the circuit. Okay, so let us apply the Miller theorem, and here you see that this is the first RM1 RB-C upon 1 minus K, and similarly this is the RM2 Miller resistance to RB-C upon 1 minus 1 upon K according to the Miller's theorem. And similarly for CC also, this is CC 1 minus K and this is CC 1 minus 1 upon K. Now I do not have to tell you that here when we apply the Miller theorem, because of the resistance, this 1 minus K component comes in the denominator, and since it is the capacitance, it comes in the multiplicative manner, because when we apply series parallel relationship between resistors and between capacitors, they are having the opposite relationship. Okay, when we try to calculate the parallel relationship between the capacitors, then they just add on, and in case of the resistors, the relationship is R1 into R2 upon R1 plus R2, and in the series it is opposite. In case of series, the resistances just adds R1 plus R2, and in capacitances has C1 C2 upon C1 plus C1 plus C2. So according to the basic fundamental of resistance and capacitance, we have applied the Miller's theorem. Now since the current gain is for short circuit, we are making the VO as 0, and since VO is 0, RL is also equal to 0, this load resistance will be short circuited. Okay, and since this load resistance will be short circuited, we can see, because this is short circuited, in parallel RCE will also be short circuited, the capacitance will also be short circuited, and this resistance will also be short circuited, because there is no potential difference between the terminals. All the terminals are having the same voltage, and what is that voltage? That voltage is V0, and we are making V0 equals to 0. Let me not write here. We are making V0 equals to 0. So by making V0 equals to 0, we are short circuiting the output, and since RL is short circuited, other components will also be short circuited. Okay, so this is the equivalent diagram you can see here in the below, and GM VB dash E is the only component, that is the current source which is available. IC is the collector current, and ISC is denoting me the short circuit current. So the short circuit current, that is nothing but the I naught. We here, since we are applying the short circuit theory, that is why the denotion is ISC. ISC and IC is in the opposite direction. Okay, now let us go further. ISC is nothing but minus of IC. Okay, and what is ISC? The only current source which is available in this circuit, that is GM into VB dash E. So ISC is nothing but minus GM into VB dash E. This is the equation number 1. From the input circuit, we know that, see, here we have applied the Miller theorem, so we have to know what is the value of the K. Without knowing the value of the K, we cannot go and analyze the circuit. Okay, so what is K? K is nothing but V2 upon V1. V2 is output voltage and V1 is input voltage. What is output voltage? Since it is the common emitter configuration, the output voltage is VCE. And the input voltage is VB dash E. We are ignoring VBE, we are just calculating the VB dash E. Okay, now since we have short circuited the output, you know VO, what is output voltage? Output voltage is nothing but VCE. Okay, and since you have short circuited the output, VO is equal to 0, so VC is E is also equal to 0, and since VC equals to 0, this whole term becomes 0. Okay, now if you see at the input side, we are solving the input side first. So from the input side, we can see RB dash E is in parallel with RB dash C upon 1 minus 1 upon K. Here, this two term, this thing, this is in this resistance and this resistance are in parallel. So since K is 0, ultimately RB dash E is in parallel with RB dash C. What is the value of RB dash E? This is the standard value of RB dash E, which we have discussed in the first lecture of high frequency amplifier, and that is 1 kilo ohms. And RB dash C has the value of 4 mega ohms. So when they become parallel, we have discussed it that when two resistances are in parallel, the lower resistance prevails. Okay, see, so what value we can assume that 1 kilo ohm will be the value of this two resistances, the equivalent value, and hence we can see that RB dash E comes out to be the final resistance at the input side. Similarly, these two capacitances are also in parallel. CE is parallel with CC 1 minus K. Here, this CE, this capacitance is parallel with this capacitance. CE is parallel with CC 1 minus K. Now K is equals to 0 as we have already calculated. Then CE comes parallel to CC. So when these two capacitances are in parallel, they're just going to be added. So CE plus CC will be the final resistance that comes out to be as the equivalent capacitive value. So if we can somehow draw the equivalent circuit of the input side, how it will look alike? This is the only resistance which is present at the input side, and this is the total capacitance value which is present at the input side. So here when we can draw the overall circuit as the value of the conductances. Why we are converting this into this? Because we want to calculate the cumulative value. So when we are adding these two values, how we can add? If we can calculate the conductance from this resistance, so resistance 1 upon resistance is equal to conductance. So what conductance this particular resistance is giving me? This is GB dash E. Okay, and similarly CE plus CC can be written as J omega CE plus CC. And since we are writing the admittance value now, this is not impedance. We have converted the impedance into admittance. By converting the resistance into conductance and writing the equivalent value of capacitance in terms of the frequency parameters. So this can be added. Okay. So this is the circuit which is the equivalent circuit of the input side. Yeah. So let's move ahead. So if I want to calculate the VB dash E, what is the VB dash E? VB dash E is the voltage which is present across this admittance. So admittance and voltage relation is, what voltage relation it shares? It shares as VB dash E equals to IB upon Y. If it would have been the resistance, we would have been written it as VB dash equals to IB into Z. But since it is the admittance, we are writing IB upon Y. From the equation 1, we have already calculated that ISC is nothing but minus GM into VB dash E, and ISC can be written as, if we can replace this value over here, then we can get this value, IB upon Y. Now since Y is GB dash E plus J omega C plus CC, we can calculate the ISC as this value. We have just replaced the value of the Y here, and we want to calculate what we want to calculate. We are interested in current gain. So current gain is output current upon input current, and this is the output current, which is nothing but the short circuit current, and this is the input current, which is nothing but the IB. So I have just transferred this particular term over here, and ISC upon IB equals to minus GM upon this particular parameter, and since it is the current gain, we are writing it as AI because it is the current gain, and SC is nothing but the short circuit. So this is the short circuit current gain AISC, which comes out to be this. Okay, now we will further solve this and try to find out some relationship in terms of the frequency. So how we can do that? This GB dash E term can be divided in both the numerator and denominator. So this GB dash E is divided here, this GB dash E is divided here, this GB dash E cancel out in the denominator, and we have replaced this omega as 2 pi f. Okay, and this CE plus CC and GB dash E remains the same. Now come to this minus GM upon GB dash E. Now we have already calculated that RB dash E is equal to HFE upon GM. Okay, see why we are replacing this value, because we want to calculate the gain, and somehow if we can find out the relationship in terms of the gain, that will ultimately give you the conclusion that what is the relationship between gain and the frequency. So you are replacing the values to calculate the gain. Okay, so RB dash E equals to HFE upon GM, or GB dash E equals to GM upon HFE. So HFE can be written as GM upon GB dash E. So if you understand this is very simple equations. So minus GM upon GB dash E can be replaced as minus HFE. That is what we have done here. So AISC is nothing but, I have again taken this equation from the last slide, and minus GM upon GB dash E can be written as minus HFE from the equations which we have considered in the previous slide. And this particular equation, this is J is same and F is same, and J, consider this J and F, and rest of the things 2 pi GB dash E C plus CC, like this. This thing is replaced as FB, and this is nothing but the 3 dB frequency. We will discuss about the 3 dB frequency later when we'll go for the diagram. Now let us consider, this is our final equation of the gain, short circuit current gain, and it is minus HFE upon 1 plus JF upon FB, where FB is nothing but GB dash E upon 2 pi C plus CC. I think it is very simple to understand. We have just introduced a constant here, okay, and FB is the constant, which is nothing but the 3 dB frequency. Now let us consider 3 cases. Case 1, when f equals to 0, let us make this f equals to 0. When f equals to 0, obviously your AISC becomes minus HFE, and if you want to calculate the positive gain, you are just applying the mod. So mod of AISC is nothing but HFE. So if you make the frequency equals to 0, your AISC, that is the short circuit current gain, comes out to be as HFE. HFE is the, what is HFE? HFE is the current gain. HFE is the gain of the low frequency. And what we are doing here, we are making the f equals to 0. So by making f equals to 0, you are going to the lower frequencies. So when you apply f equal to 0, the short circuit current gain in the high frequency model also comes out to be as HFE, since we have removed the frequency term. Okay, now let us consider the second case, when f equals to FB. So if you equal these two terms, f equals to FB, this gets cancelled out, and 1 plus J1, we can calculate the equivalent complex value, that is the under root 2. So what is the value of AISC? Mod of AISC is HFE upon root 2, or we can say, if we will solve this, we will get the value AISC is equal to equal to 0.707 of HFE. So this particular term, what it explains, what is the meaning of equation number 3 for me? In terms of the percentage voltage, short circuit current gain is 70.7% of the total gain. It means that current gain is 1 upon root 2 times of the maximum gain. So when we equal this voltage F equals to FB, then the short circuit current gain becomes 1 upon root 2 times of HFE, that is the 0.707 of HFE. So whatever value which is present here in the equation number 2, that becomes 70.7% if we talk in the terms of the percentage. So it reduces. So when you are increasing the frequency, it is reducing the gain. This is the inverse relationship between gain and frequency. If you want larger gain, you have to reduce the frequency, and if you are demanding the higher frequency ranges, then you have to compromise on the value of the gain. So there is always inverse relationship between gain and frequency, and that is how we have calculated the equation number 3. And this particular FB is why it is known as the 3 dB frequency, because it reduces my gain to 1 upon root 2 times, and if you calculate 1 upon root 2 times in terms of the decibels, it comes out to be 3 dB. And I have earlier told also in one of the lectures, let me repeat it again. In all over the world, scientists and engineers have come to the common conclusion then that if we somehow limit the value, in terms of the gain, that is the 3 dB gain, then that value is acceptable. I mean, below that range, if you further decrease the gain in terms of the frequency, if you are increasing the frequency, the gain will be reduced. So here when I am making F equals to FB, this FB is 3 dB frequency. Why it is 3 dB frequency? Because it is giving 1 upon root 2 times of the HFE. So 1 upon root 2 is nothing but 3 dB in terms of the decibels. Okay, so scientists have arrived to the common conclusion that if the value remains to the 3 dB limit, then that value is acceptable, that gain is acceptable, and we can accept it as tolerance value of the gain. So further, if you want to require the higher bandwidth, that is the higher frequency ranges, then gain will be further reduced. Okay, so this 3 dB is accepted as the common value, the common tolerance value across the scientist world. You can understand like this. Okay. Now another term which we are going to introduce here is the new frequency term, and when we want that gain approaches to unity. Now we are moving to the gain bandwidth product topic. Okay, so consider that frequency where the short circuit gain becomes 1. So equation number 4 is giving me the same scenario. Here I am introducing a term Ft. So Ft is the frequency. When F becomes Ft, we are saying that this gain becomes equal to 1. Okay, so what we have earlier calculated, AISC equals to minus HFE upon 1 plus JF upon FB. Yeah, so if I put F equals to Ft, I am saying that the gain becomes 1, or gain will be equal to 1. So let me first introduce Ft term here. So I have introduced in place of F equals to Ft, and we have calculated the equivalent value like this. So equation number 4 and equation number 5, the left hand side is equal, so we can easily compare the right hand sides. So HFE upon this value equals to the 1. So we know that Ft upon Fb is certainly greater than equal to 1 because of this square term. So this analysis is correct, and if it is true, then HFE equals to under root Ft upon Fb whole square, and if you want to remove the square root term, you will get this kind of value, and from here you can calculate HFE equals to Ft upon Fb. And what is Ft? Ft is nothing but HFE into Fb. What is HFE? HFE is the low frequency gain which we have calculated in case number 1. And what is FB? As I already discussed, FB is the 3 dB frequency. So what is Ft then? Ft is nothing but it is giving me the relationship between gain and frequency, and this is nothing but gain bandwidth product. HFE is gain and Fb is the frequency term, that is the bandwidth. Okay, so FB defines me the bandwidth of the amplifier and HFE defines me the gain of the amplifier. If I multiply these two terms, the new frequency term will come out to me as FT, and this is nothing but gain bandwidth product. So we have defined this gain bandwidth product. Where we have defined this gain bandwidth product? When we have put the gain equals to 1, as we have considered here in equation number 4. So when we are putting gain equals to unity, gain equals to 1, then we are having this term HF into FB. Remember this always. So this particular term is valid for unity gain only. Okay, so let us finally discuss this graph, and this is very important. What we have derived in the first case, when we put f equal to 0 here, when we put f equals to 0, what kind of gain we are getting? We are getting the highest gain, and that gain is equals to HFE. This is the gain we are getting when we are putting the f equal to 0. Somehow if we increase this f equals to FB, we have increased the frequency term. Since we are increasing the frequency terms, now the frequency which is available here, that is expanded towards here. So now we are able to handle more frequency. Means we have increased the bandwidth of the amplifier. But when you increase the bandwidth of the amplifier, what is the consequence of this? The gain will be reduced, and the gain will be HFE upon root 2. We have calculated it, HFE upon root 2. And what is HFE upon root 2? This HFE upon root 2 is nothing but 0.707 of, let me not write this, this is the value, 0.707 of HFE. So here the gain has reduced. Try to understand this. You are increasing the frequency, you are increasing the bandwidth of the amplifier. At what cost? By reducing the gain. So this blue value is giving me the value of the gain when frequency equals to 0, and this green value is giving me the value of the gain when f becomes FB. So we have increased the bandwidth of the amplifier, but on the cost of reduced gain. And further we have also say that when f equals to FT, when f equals to FT, we have introduced the third case. This is the third case. When f equals to FT, what we are assuming that gain equals to 1. So this is the value where the gain equals to 1. Okay, so you are knowing this HFE value is far greater than 1. The HFE value is far greater than 1. So you have come from HFE to this 1. You have decreased the gain from HFE to 1, and since we have decreased this value from HFE to 1, the unity gain, we have further increased this bandwidth of the amplifier. So f equals to FT is the frequency where we get the maximum bandwidth, but gain becomes the unity. Okay, so this is nothing but the gain bandwidth product. Yeah, so we have discussed today that how gain and frequency is related. If we want to calculate the if we want to increase the gain, we have to decrease the frequency. If you are interested in higher frequency ranges, higher bandwidth ranges, then you have to decrease the gain as well. So these two things are always in opposite relation. And when we talk about the gain bandwidth product, the gain bandwidth product gives me the gain into bandwidth. So if I am saying that gain bandwidth product is calculated at the unity gain, it means the product term between gain and frequency always will be equal to 1. So if I am increasing the frequency, I have to decrease the gain. If I am increasing the gain, I have to decrease the frequency. So this is how the whole relationship between gain and frequency exists. So this is the outcome of today's lecture. We have discussed the relationship between the current, gain and frequency in detail. We have derived the 3 dB frequency term and also the gain bandwidth product. What kind of questions you can expect from this particular portion is: derive the expression of the common emitter current gain when output is short circuited, and comment on the relationship between gain and frequency. You can also be asked to calculate or to give the gain bandwidth product relation. What is the gain bandwidth product, how 3 dB frequency is calculated, like this. So you can follow these steps and you can easily give the answers. Okay, so this is all for the today's lecture. In the next lecture we will discuss that what will be the effect if I will not short circuit the output. So we will discuss in the next lecture that common emitter current gain when the output is not short circuited, output with the resistive load. Thanks for watching the today's lecture.